For the few people who are aware of the YouTuber Brett Keane, all he is remembered for is his incredible lack of intelligence and everlasting desire to scam or manipulate people. I've checked out his most recent channel out of a morbid curiosity on his situation, and it's exactly as I expected. And by that I mean it's just completely boring, insipid, low-effort content made by someone who thinks he's a lot cooler and smarter than he actually is. There was one thing that was new that surprised me, though. It all started when I noticed that in his recent videos, a lot of them had the exact same thumbnail of him on them. Although that's nothing too unique, really, but when I started watching his videos, I saw him sitting there completely still, barely moving at all, for videos that can go up to an hour in length. And his mouth was completely covered by his microphone the entire time. It was strange, but I just assumed he was covering his mouth so he wouldn't see that he literally has no teeth due to his off-brand root beer addiction. But then I noticed that the microphone in front of him and the chair behind him are obviously PNGs. You can see his chair fuck up a little bit with the green screen, because you can see it has square edges around the ends of the chair. And then, after staring at him long enough, I realized that he was repeating the same subtle movements over and over again. Like this thing where he moves his lip a bit and tilts his head to the top left. Eventually it hit me like he hits his wife. Brett was trying to trick us into thinking he was sitting in a chair and talking in real time for his videos, when he wasn't. He's just playing a looped video of him sitting there. Look closely. To my count, it takes about 15 seconds for him to subtly teleport in place, because the loop is starting over, and it takes about 22 seconds for him to repeat the movement where he tilts his head to the left.
I hosted a show with TTOR, and we discussed the Bible as well as modern day issues going on with the world, and we've got tons of shows up there, and also you can watch and listen to them.
It's in the video OBS Video Editing Microphone Tutorial by Brett Keane, with the first letter of each word capitalized, of course. Look at the bottom left of the screen here, at his OBS sources. Mic pick, green screen me, with each word capitalized, and share. There's more. Later, he must have realized he fucked up because he begins to cover the OBS sources, but then at one point in this video, Brett has to turn the green screen loop of him off because he's going to be using his mouse to show off something in OBS. And if he kept it on, it would be even more obvious he wasn't actually sitting at his computer because we would see his arm moving. My friend Kamalio Potato had phenomenal instincts here in this moment because he noticed that when Brett started moving his mouse, he just so happened to accidentally cover the screen with his intro image. And if you look to the bottom left very closely when his supposed webcam turns off while I slow it down, you can see mic pick, green screen, and chair disappear.
Whoops. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go to full screen. Full screen.
Whoops. Conveniently, the OBS scene he's on when his supposed webcam is off doesn't have the aforementioned sources. Later in the video, when he brings back the looped green screen footage, you can see them return if we slow it down again. This is so embarrassing, there's no one else I can see doing it other than Brett Keane. He was very clearly trying to hide the fact that this is a green screen loop, but how did he not notice that the sources were right there in the beginning of the video? Why didn't he just cut out the parts in the video that had the sources? He could have just showed something else when editing the video. Well, the simplest answer is the correct one here. He's stupid and lazy. Or to put it another way, it's because he's Brett Keane. But for what reason would he do all of this anyway? Why lie about the way you recorded your video? Well, back in the day, he would always make videos laying down in bed, which people made fun of him for, and this is how he was dubbed the Manatee, or as he likes to think, the King of the Manatee. And if you look at his past, like the fact that he tried to rebrand himself as the Stallion and Wolfman BK, it's very clear that he feels insecure about his self-image, so it's only natural he would try to artificially create this image of a professional, intellectual Brett Keane that sits in a chair and talks about whatever philosophical topic enters his mind. but even that basic idea of a person is too much for Brett. As always, he tries to hide the real Brett Keane, because the truth is, he's too lazy to even get out of bed.